Hey there, welcome back to another video. I'm Christina, homeschool mom of 9. I've been homeschooling for 14 years, and I share advice and tips on how to make your homeschool journey as smooth and enjoyable as possible. Today, we're going to be talking about the big question in homeschooling and something that really burdens probably almost every homeschooler at some point in time. And that is the question of, am I enough? Am I enough to homeschool my kids? Am I smart enough? Am I good enough? Am I patient enough? We're going to be tackling that today. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe, and let's get started. So I think at some point in the homeschool journey, everyone asks this question because you look at public school teachers and you think, well, they've got a 4-year education, specifically in education. And they've got all these resources. I mean, they've got a whole school district worth of funding behind them. I don't have that. Maybe I'm homeschooling on a budget. Maybe I'm a single mom. Maybe I'm homeschooling and no one's supportive of me. I'm not really confident in this thing. And then, not to mention, if one of our children isn't learning to read fast enough or in the pace that the curriculum says they should, or maybe that one child is maybe dyslexic or something like that. This question tends to weigh on us a lot, and it can really do damage to us mentally and emotionally and even physically. But even as a homeschool mom of 14 years, even up until like 3 or 4 years ago, I was still asking myself this question, like, am I good enough? Can I do this? It's like, girl, you've already been doing it for 10 years. You've already graduated 2 students. Like, what are you doing? So I think that we just have to say that questioning whether we're good enough or whether we can do this is par for the course. And so that's my honest assessment of it. Like, this is just something that we're all at some point going to go through. There's nothing unusual going on with you if you feel this way, if you feel doubts, if you feel confusion. This is just par for the course. But a couple things I want to give you to help you when you start to ask this question is to just ask yourself, like, who loves them more than you? Who loves your children more than you? That public school teacher does not love your children more than you. They're not more invested in your kids than you are, right? They may have a passion for children, they may have a passion for teaching, but at the end of the day, it's a paycheck. And if your child doesn't know how to read, or if your child can look back on their school years and say that was awful, what's it to them? It's like, I got paid for my job. But when you're homeschooling, we take it very, very personally because there's no one to look at and point the finger at and say, well, my child doesn't know how to read because of the public school. It's like, it's all on us. And if you are religious, you would say, God loves my child more than me. If God loves your child more than you and he's called you to this, would that not be exactly what your child needs then? Would you not be exactly what your child needs? So always remember, no one loves them more than you. And if you're religious, no one loves them more than the Creator. And the Creator has called you to do this. And you can rest in that. So the second thing that you want to do when you start to question if you're good enough to do this is remember that no one starts out as an expert. You may be going into it like, I'm new to this thing, or maybe it's my 3rd year, 5th year, because truth be told, until you've been homeschooling about 3 to 5 years, you're still wobbly. You're still not very secure because maybe you've only homeschooled 1 to 3 kids, and maybe you haven't gone through all the different age levels and the grade levels of the curriculum. And just remember, even if you feel that imposter syndrome, like I'm pretending to be a teacher, you fake it till you make it. No one starts out as an expert. Even the teachers that are at the public school started out brand new. There was a first day of school for them too. Just like there's a first day of school for you. They're not any better than you, and you're not any worse than them. We all are just starting out. Everyone's a beginner at something at some point in time. So give yourself grace. And one of the things that you can just remember too is that you can learn as you go. That's one of the beautiful things about homeschooling is I get to learn alongside my children. And there are a lot of things, especially in our history curriculum, that I didn't learn in public school. There are different ways that math is taught that's like, oh my gosh, that's so much easier. I remember that now. I have literally relearned my multiplication facts with my children. You don't start out as an expert. You can learn as you go, as long as you stay one day ahead of your children in the curriculum. Read it up tonight. Make sure you're ready for tomorrow. In your children's eyes, you are the expert, mommy. They don't know any different. So you're beating yourself up, but your children are looking at you like you are the most amazing mom, homeschooler, whatever in the world. They don't know anything else. So Look at yourself from their perspective. If you're religious or if you're spiritual, look at yourself from the eyes of the Creator. Everyone starts out new. Everyone starts out feeling like an imposter. No matter what you're doing, everyone has a day one, okay? And you should never compare your day one to someone's day 1,000. So just give yourself grace. The third way that you can kind of just snap out of the am I good enough spiral is to remember that you know your child. You know your baby better than anyone else. The wonderful thing about homeschooling is that you can build and cultivate an even richer and deeper relationship with your children. You get to know them in ways that you could never know them if they were in public school. So as long as you're cultivating that relationship with them, and as long as you're allowing them the safe space to come to you with their struggles in school and their heart and what they're dealing with, then it will be a much more enjoyable journey for everyone. So like when I was first starting out, it was a terrible time. I didn't really know my kids because my oldest children, I pulled them out when they were in third grade. And when we first started homeschooling, I was a nightmare of a homeschool mom because I didn't know my kids. I sent them off to school every day. So when I brought them home to homeschool them, it was like, I didn't know what their learning style was. I didn't know that math was this one's really weak subject. It's like I had an inkling based on doing homework with them and things, but I didn't know the ins and the outs of my children. It helped me to see that when they were in school, I didn't really know them that well. This isn't to knock anyone sending their children to public school. This is just the reality that when you're with your children 24 hours a day, you get to know them in deeper and more layered ways than if you're sending them off to be educated by someone else every day. And those first few years of homeschooling were a terrible time for me and my daughters. But luckily it was like after that second, third year, it was like, okay, this is better. This is better. I'm starting to get it a little bit. But now it's like, I go at my child's pace. And I have so many children that I'm homeschooling that this is probably one of the best things that I could tell anyone. Look at what your child needs. Look at how they thrive and just follow that. Your child is the blueprint. Do what they need you to do. Give them what they need. So if your child is a kinesthetic learner and they need hands-on and they need to get up out of their seat, please don't sit there and try to read to them all day. That's gonna be miserable for you and for them. If you know that your child needs to move, allow them to get up, allow them to run. My children, every 10, 15 minutes, they run in a circle through the hallway. They need that. So whatever my children need, I'm obliged to give it to them, because if they're open to receive, then whatever I'm pouring in is going to be absorbed. But when a child is sitting there like, oh my gosh, you've been reading to me for 20 minutes, and their eyes look like this, nothing's getting through there. It's glass. So not only are you wasting your time, you're wasting their time, they're wasting their time. We want to be offering respect in our homeschools. And so respect starts out with knowing your children and what they need and supplying that for them. So see their strengths, see their struggles, and compliment them, help them, mold and be malleable for them, because that's what they need. And after all, is that not why you're on the journey to on the homeschooling journey in the first place? Because you want to do what's best for them. So then look to them because they're telling you what's best for them. Trust them, trust your children. The fourth thing I can tell you when you start to wonder whether you're good enough or not is remember that the curriculum supports you. The curriculum isn't your boss. The curriculum is your guide. The curriculum is your suggestion manual. It's not your ruler. So whatever curriculum and resources that you're using, make sure that they are supporting you and that they're not burdening you, because that's counterintuitive. You want to be supported in your homeschool journey, not burdened and bogged down. So whatever you choose to do, make sure that it's complementing you and uplifting you and supporting you, not to make you feel like a failure and questioning yourself and your sanity and your worth. And I mean, homeschool can really mess you up in the mind if you're not careful. You're not alone in this thing. So make sure not only just with your curriculum, but that you have the homeschool support that you need. A lot of us are going this thing alone. A lot of us are not supported by our families. A lot of us are not supported by our friends or even our spouses, if we have one. Some of us don't have a spouse, or some of us are separated. A lot of us just don't have the support that we need. And so make sure that you are not abusing yourself by trying to do this completely alone. And then on top of that, you have a curriculum that's beating you over the head every day and that you're struggling with. Make whatever you're using work for you. Whatever curriculum you're using, whatever resources, manipulatives, whatever homeschool group. I've started a homeschool sacred circle for women like us who are on this journey that want to help each other and inspire each other. I'm a coach, so I'll be offering coaching, Zoom calls and Q&As, and we'll be giving away gifts and just all kinds of stuff. So because I am not a part of a homeschool group, a physical homeschool group anymore. I found them to be way too catty for me. They were actually very drama filled. They were very stressful. They were cliquish. And I was just like, I'm over this. So I hadn't been in a homeschool group in I don't even know how long. And so with this group, I've decided I want to create what it is that I want, what I need, because I'm sure that there are other mothers out there that need and want and desire the same thing. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and drop that link in the comments below. Check that out if you're interested. I have it on 50% off sale. Just make sure that you have the support that you need. The fifth piece of advice that I have for you is to make sure that you have a growth mindset about what you're doing and your homeschool. So you want to give yourself permission to make mistakes. Anyone starting a new job, there's training for a reason because you're going to make mistakes. And there's that grace period. Usually it's about 3 months or something like that. Those first 3 months, it's like, all right, we expect that you're just learning. You're going to get it. You may make some mistakes, but it's okay. You're not failing. And one thing my mom used to always tell me is that nothing beats a failure than a try. So as long as you're trying, you're not failing. If you fall down, but you get back up and you learn from what brought you down in the first place, then that's a win. So no matter how many times you fall, if you get back up and you learn, you did not fail. You didn't lose anything. That's a growth mindset. So you want to know that every mistake was an opportunity to learn a better way of doing this or that or what have you. So don't beat yourself up. Have a growth mindset with this thing. It's okay to make mistakes. Offer yourself grace. And remember that a lot of this is like you have the privilege of learning alongside your child. That's one of the things I love is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Like me and my kids get to researching. Like one day we went off on a whole rabbit hole of like the speed of sound. And we were listening to sonic booms and my son had the bass up as loud as he could put it to feel the sonic boom rumble in our chest. So it's like homeschooling can really be a beautiful journey if you allow it to be. Allow yourself the grace period to learn and grow. And really, to be honest, I would say the homeschooling grace period is like I said, 3 years. I know that probably sounds crazy, but truth be told, if there's any moms who have been homeschooling for any period of time, please drop it in the comments. Let the newcomers know. This thing wasn't figured out in year 1. It wasn't figured out in year 2. It wasn't really figured out in year 3. Year 3 is probably when you started to feel comfortable enough. We're in this for the long haul. So sis, please do not get down on yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes because that's a part of learning. Think of it the same way with your children. Your children are going to make mistakes in their homeschool. Are you going to beat up on them mentally and emotionally? Are you going to tell them they're stupid? Are you going to tell them they're failures? Are you going to tell them they're not good enough? No, you're not going to do that to your children. So don't do that to yourself. This is your work to do, and you are capable and you are able to do it. The sixth thing I can tell you is that you want to remember that this homeschool journey is so much bigger than the day by day. The day by day is like one piece of the 10,000 piece puzzle. So each day, each week, each month, it's like you sifted through and you found that one piece. Like year 1 through 3, you're building the corner of the puzzle. And then after that, it's like you take all the colors that are the same and you put them in a pile and then you start to put it all together. You are building a legacy. Your legacy is like a puzzle. It's not about each day. It's about the grand scheme. Some of us get lost in this thing because we can't see the forest for the trees. We get deflated and drained by the daily grind of homeschooling, but we have to pan out for a little bit and remember, I'm doing this for a much bigger reason. And the big reason is that I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want my children to look back on their homeschooling days with joy. Yeah, there are going to be hard times, of course. There are going to be crying, there's going to be tears. But what is the overall theme of your homeschool? And it's a legacy that you're building. You are pouring into your children in a way that you wouldn't be able to any other way. So just remember that this is so much bigger than the day by day. This is a generational thing that you're building. You're pouring into your children so that they can then pour into their children and in their children. And the next thing you know, when the stories are told, you're going to be Big Mama, the Big Mama that's being referenced in how did you learn your multiplication? Well, Big Mama taught my mama. That's you. You're going to be Big Mama. So this is so much more than just the day by day with your children. This is you pouring into your children's children. And a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. This is not just about financial inheritance. It's about what are you pouring into your children's hearts, minds, and souls that is going to carry on into the next generation. It's bigger than day by day, sis. So remember that when you start to feel like you're not enough, you were called to this. Those are your children. They weren't given to anyone else but you, specifically to you. And nothing happens for no reason at all. Okay. This is divine. This is sacred energy that we're talking about right now. And so that was my last piece of encouragement for you, is just remembering that this is the divine thing. Whether you're religious, spiritual, or not, we can all agree that our children were given to us and no one else. So there is a tie that binds that no one and nothing can break, and nothing will ever be stronger than that. And so when you rest in that, knowing that I'm good enough because I'm it. I am my children's parent. I was chosen to be their mother, or if you're a homeschooling father, I was chosen to be their father. No one else. Out of the 8 billion people, you. No one else, you. You are good enough. You are more than enough. You are worthy of feeling secure and feeling confident. And if I can do it, homeschooling, while pregnant, nursing, not getting to sleep, helping run a business, I have been through more trauma than I can even explain. I had some major traumas compounded on me. I lost my father. My 28-year-old brother was murdered while I was 5 months pregnant with my 9th baby. And then shortly thereafter, my husband and our marriage fell apart. It's been a few years, but homeschooling while grieving is something that actually showed me that I'm enough and that I can do this, even in spite of all that I was going through. Everything happens for a reason. So I just want to give you all that encouragement today. I hope it's not too long-winded. I'm going to try to keep it shorter next time, but I just really want you to know that you are good enough. Please don't ever question that. And the more competent you feel, the more confident you'll feel. And that's where my coaching comes in. I'm using that in this homeschool journey to help moms who just really need that additional nudge to get their mindset together to be able to overcome some obstacles. If maybe they've had grief, maybe they've gone through separation or divorce, trauma, betrayal, financial issues, whatever it may be. Trust me, I've been through it all, and I'm enough. And you are too. So that's my encouragement for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. Drop me a comment below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.